Hey Vinyl community, Mark here again from Sound Matters, and in today's video we are reviewing the Pro-Ject MaiA S3, which is this dinky looking little integrated amplifier that you can see behind me in this clip. I've been using Pro-Ject's Stereobox DS2 for just over a year now, which is another small compact integrated design, but this one's even cheaper and it's even smaller. Can it deliver? We're going to find out in today's video. The first MaiA integrated amplifier was announced and launched in 2014, and just for the record, the MaiA name stands for MaiA Audiophile-Integrated Amplifier, and this new design is said to boast several improvements on the previous S2 design. This is the MaiA S3, and it's impossibly small. It measures just under 9 inches wide. Now, that's incredibly small for an integrated amplifier with so many varied inputs. It's going to be very interesting just to see how well this unit can perform. For such a small device, it's relatively feature-rich, sporting an integrated phono-stage based on Pro-Ject's phono-box, plus aptX HD Bluetooth connectivity and additional RCA and Toslink digital inputs. This impressive range of connectivity options in such a small housing should satisfy the majority of listeners looking for a central hi-fi hub in compact living spaces. So under the hood, what's new? Well, the new S3 model is slightly larger than its predecessor, however it remains impressively small, but according to Pro-Ject, this has enabled them to completely redesign the circuit board and improve it, particularly from an electromagnetic interference perspective. But it is a completely new circuit design and we should see some improvements across the board. Bluetooth connectivity has moved on greatly since the original MaiA unit, and the S3 has accordingly moved on with the times. The newer aptX based Bluetooth devices deliver superior streaming quality to the standard SBC codec, which will please listeners enjoying the convenience of streaming from your phone. For Bluetooth turntable fans, of course, this naturally means there's less of a compromise when opting to hook your deck up wirelessly. In terms of the front-end controls, I really like the simplicity of these Pro-Ject units, and just like the Stereobox DS2 that I use on a day-to-day basis, the MaiA offers very easy to operate minimalist controls, and just like its bigger brother, it offers buttons for source selection, there's a motor-driven volume control which you can also control using a remote, and there's a headphone output for private listening. Pairing up your phone with the Bluetooth couldn't be easier. Simply hold the pair button until the blue light flashes. The device will show as MaiA S3 under the Bluetooth devices on your phone. You can select it and you're instantly connected. And while Sound Matters is a vinyl focused site and community, I do keep a HiFi Tidal subscription handy for casual listening and extra convenience. Another thing I would say is the S3 range in general is a great way to branch out from all-in-one hi-fi systems or the world of powered speakers. Each model is stackable, so it's a great way to get into separate, so it makes it ultra simple to say add a CD player to your rig or upgrade the phono-stage. Going down the separate route gives you much greater control over each part of the signal chain, and it enables each element to focus on what it does best, while also enabling you to upgrade one piece at a time when your budget allows. Now onto the listening test. So I tested the MaiA S3 using my Pro-Ject X1 turntable and a set of their Stereobox 5S2 speakers. Now compared to my Pro-Ject Stereobox DS2, the MaiA S3 is a much more affordable proposition at $799 or £539. And when you factor in the additional digital inputs and the superior Bluetooth connectivity in terms of the codec that's used there, then the S3 starts to look even more attractive still. For an amp with such a small power supply and a power output of only 2 by 23 watts at 8 ohms or 40 watts at 4 ohms, I was suitably impressed with the performance. There wasn't quite the same low-end performance as my DS2, but it seemed to handle the 5S2 speakers, which have a recommended amplifier power of 10 to 150 watts by the way, with relative ease. As for the 5S2 speakers themselves, well, they're a solid sounding bookshelf speaker with a generous amount of top end and solid low end. The mid-range is a little boxier than say my Klipsch RP500M monitors, and the soundstage is a little less open to my ears. Curious to see if this was the amp or the speaker difference that I was hearing, I did briefly hook up the MaiA S3 to my Klipsch speakers. Overall, I consider the Stereo Box DS2 a better match here, but this was a useful test to indicate where the most substantial change in sonic performance might lay. And to my amazement, the S3 actually sounded very impressive, with the Klipsch speakers sounded very reasonable indeed despite the lower output, which I think is in part thanks to the Klipsch speakers having a very good sensitivity rating, so they're very efficient speakers. If you've got a very efficient loudspeaker, then you don't actually need that many watts to get a good loud output out of a set of speakers, and this simple A/B test confirmed that my preference is for the Klipsch speakers over the Pro-Ject 5S2s. But like everything in hi-fi, there is always a large degree of subjectivity and, of course, personal taste. As a vinyl focused channel, of course, it's important we focus on the phono-stage, and while the built-in phono-stage to the S3 is more than adequate as a plug and play option right out of the box, the performance can be improved further still, in my view, with the introduction of an external phono-stage. I did try switching to my Radial J33, which is actually more of a DJ phono-stage than anything, but it's certainly an upgrade on most built-in options. I did find when I did this that the instrument separation improved further still and the low frequencies developed more focus. So what's the bottom line then? What do I think of the MaiA S3? Well, if you're looking for an entry-level, very compact integrated amplifier with plenty of input options, I think it's really a superb option for you. Now, admittedly, the power output is probably better suited to smaller listening spaces. However, you'd be surprised how much you'll get out of it if you pair it with some very efficient loudspeakers. Now, I'm actually looking for a replacement to my all-in-one hi-fi setup that I use in the living room when listening to records with my family, and I wouldn't hesitate to put the MaiA S3 at the heart of that setup. The connectivity options and just the size of it that's so compact in such a small living room that we have makes it a very attractive option to me, but I would like to hear how it sounds with a pair of the Klipsch RP400M monitors, which are the smaller versions of the ones that I currently own. I'll be very curious to hear how it would sound and perform with those speakers in particular. As a vinyl enthusiast with limited space, I am always looking for high performance pieces of kit for delivering in less than ideal listening spaces, and I think in terms of the MaiA 3, this unit certainly delivers on a lot of those aspects. Now, if you are a record collector or new to the hobby kind of vinyl enthusiast that is looking for something that's the hub of your setup and you need it to be compact and to still deliver a high quality audio experience, then I think the MaiA S3 is a superb option for you and a good place to start from which to nurture your hobby and grow your love of music on vinyl. So on that note, I think I can end on a positive and open it up to you. If you've used this amplifier before already, it's relatively new to the market, but I'd be keen to hear from you down in the comments below. And thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful and useful, and if you're new to this channel, please do consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep spinning.